Are you experiencing bloating on your carnivore or keto diet? Are you keeping to the plan of whatever version of carnivore or keto that you're doing? And I'm being serious here because, let's be real, it's the end of January now, heading into February, and a lot of people, well, let's be honest with ourselves, a lot of people cheated on their diets over the holidays, and that's fine. That may seem like a long time ago for those of you who may have done so or didn't cheat on your diets on the holidays, but if you did, you got back on the horse just fine after a day or two or three or four of doing whatever it was you were doing, and everything was fine. But there are people who, watching this right now, cheated on their diet, like they were planning to on the holidays, thinking they'd have the willpower to get back on the horse just fine, discovered that sugar, once it gets its hooks into you, is a really harsh mistress and does not want to be let go. They're having a really hard time getting back to eating a proper human diet. So, let's talk about bloating. Are you feeling bloated on a carnivore diet? There are several reasons why this may be. And if I don't cover a reason that you know of in here, please add it. And the first one is because you are using too much salt. I know, that's almost heresy in the carnivore space. Too much salt. It can happen. Everyone's salt needs are going to be a little different. It'll be mitigated by your activity levels. It's going to be mitigated by just factors unique to who you are. And it can take some, fine-tuning to figure out where you are. Like, for instance, when I'm good about going to the gym, I'm recovering from a weird injury right now, so I missed a few days. But when I'm good about going to the gym, I need 8,000 milligrams of sodium, give or take, a day, in the form of electrolytes and Redmond's real salt to perform at optimal levels. Sounds like a lot. Once your taste buds get used to it, it's not that. It isn't that much. If I was consuming carbs on a regular basis, I would not consume salt at that level. That would be a terrible idea. But if you have too much salt, it can cause bloating. For most of you experiencing bloating on this diet or this way of eating, it's not going to be the cause, though, but it could be. So take a look at your sodium levels. It's more likely than not that you're actually not getting enough sodium. So it's not the cause of your bloating. But for some people, it may be. Let's go to the second one. Are you experiencing, if you're experiencing bloating, you might be eating too many carbohydrates. They might be thinking, well, Anthony, this is a carnivore channel. What do you mean by too many carbs? Well, to approach the most controversial subject in the carnivore space, if your vision of the proper human diet, a carnivore diet, includes fruit and honey, and you're bloated, I would suggest ditching the fruit and the honey and going to what would be a more conventional carnivore diet. I am not pro-fruit or pro-honey, for those who might be wondering. Not in the slightest. But I know that many of you are pro-fruit and pro-honey. Eating too many carbohydrates can cause you to feel bloated because carbs make your body retain water. Your body needs extra water to process carbohydrates. It can make you feel heavier, can make you feel swollen and sluggish. It also can harm your ability to get into ketosis too, which if you're trying to burn excess body fat or just have all the other benefits of fat adaptation, including or even energy levels, the fruit and the honey are probably holding you back. So I would recommend, first and foremost, try cutting out the fruit and the honey. I know for some people that's like the most unimaginable thing you can ever imagine, someone could ever tell you, but eating too many carbohydrates might be the number one reason you're feeling bloated on a carnivore diet, because you decided to jump on team fruit and honey. Second one, you may have run up to a food intolerance. Give me the classic carnivore example. I am allergic mildly to egg whites. I cannot eat them. If I eat them, I get an upset stomach, I get bloated, I get gassy, and generally unpleasant to be around. So I don't eat egg whites. Before I was on a carnivore diet, if they were like in some bread concoction, it'd be one thing. My body would be fine because it'd just be blended in there. But, I couldn't eat scrambled eggs or any way you could cook eggs except poached eggs because I could just crack those open and let the egg yolks run over the meat or whatever I was eating and eat the yolks, but I would leave the egg white. I can't eat them. They make me ill. Bloating is one of them. Food intolerances in general. I have seen reports of, but I've never experienced it myself, people saying that chicken causes for them bloating, that they have an intolerance to chicken, or that they develop one on a carnivore diet for one reason or another. More likely, they had inflammation from other things that was masking problems with chicken that they were having already. But now they have noticed that they can't eat chicken without having these sorts of problems. For others, pork is that way. For me, if I eat too much seafood, it can be that way. But in general, you have a food intolerance to something other than carbs if you're being very good. I would suggest getting down to beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And if not butter, then ghee. And if not ghee, then tallow and lard. The next one, too many sugar alcohols. Look, let's touch upon another controversial subject here in the carnivore space. Coffee. Should you drink coffee on a carnivore diet? I'm not anti-coffee. I drink coffee sometimes. But I would really recommend not adding any of those fake flavor things to your coffee. If you need a good reason not to, go watch my recent video called The Disgusting Truth About Natural Flavors, and that should get you off of artificially flavored things. Because those natural flavors aren't natural. They're just not. But in general, the sugar alcohols, there are coffee flavorings you can buy that have sugar alcohols in them. And I'm going to assume that you're not eating keto candy, which are loaded with sugar alcohols. If you do, go eat a bunch of maltitol, and you'll see why you should never do that again. But too many sugar alcohols, those can cause inflammation, those can cause bloating, those can cause you problems. They don't really have a place as part of a proper human diet, except as the occasional super rare treat, maybe, and even that would be a controversial statement. The next one, dehydration. Yeah, you're dehydrated. That might cause bloating or feeling like you're bloated. Remember, hydration isn't just water, although that might be the easiest way to try to solve it. First, drink extra water. Being hydrated goes back to electrolytes, which goes back to salt. So on the flip side of the too much salt, you might be dehydrated. Start with, again, drinking a bunch of water, but there are various electrolyte beverages out there. I'm not trying to pitch you one. I have no sponsorship with any of these companies. A lot of people swear by Keto Chow, others swear by Element, and others still make their own. I like Element electrolytes, but you're free to like whichever one. Let me know in the comments which one you like. Do you use Keto Chow? Do you use Element? Do you make your own? Some other brand? Just let me know in the comments what you like. I like Element. I've been using them for several years now, practically since they started, and they're a great product. But other people use something else. But it could be your electrolytes. They might be low. You might be dehydrated. So up your electrolytes, up your water intake. You might feel better. And finally, gut health. This is especially relevant, I think, in the aftermath of Christmas, because you get Thanksgiving if you're in the United States or in Canada. It's a little earlier in the year in Canada. And then you have Christmas and New Year. This is the time of year when people start cheating on their diets. And I know this because during that time of year, I watched my view counts on this channel and the view counts on other carnivore channels start dropping. A lot of people tune out because they don't want to feel guilty about what they're eating. Fair enough. I understand. Trust me, I understand better than most. And so you cheat. You eat things that you should not normally eat. And you go through all the really havoc that stuff can wreak on your system in general. And what does it leave you with? Well, it leaves you with your gut being kind of torpedoed. And then you get back to a proper human diet, and guess what? Your gut is still torpedoed. The best thing you can do in this situation is to just stick to a strict carnivore diet until you repair your gut. That's the best thing you can do. People, if you look up gut health online, you'll see a lot of talk of probiotics and all this stuff. You don't really need to take a supplement most of the time for most things on this diet. If it's cold and flu season, yeah, if you want to take a vitamin C and supplements your business, I would take vitamin D, actually. But if you're going to take one, but even then, just eat some eggs or butter, okay? But otherwise, fix your, probiotics are talked about a lot here, but really the carnivore equivalent to probiotics is to make a big old batch of bone broth, because bone broth is loaded with collagen, and collagen is good for gut health. So in general, be nice to your gut. This could also be the problem, especially if you indulged in whatever it was you indulged in at the holidays, and maybe beyond the holidays. Because as I say, sugar is a cruel mistress. Once it gets its hooks into you, it does not want to let go. And this is why we don't do cheat days on the carnivore diet, at least not for the first few years that you're on it. Why? Because, as my email inbox has told me recently, People say that they didn't think they'd have a cheat day, or if they did have a cheat day, they'd be able to get back on the wagon easily. And they're discovering they couldn't. They're having a hard time. Let me know in the comments if you've had a hard time because of a cheat day you had. And if you see a comment like that in the comments, please don't give them a hard time. Just give them some tips maybe on how to get back on track. Anyway, let me know if you found this helpful. These were 5 things that might have torpedoed your, or why you were feeling bloated on a carnivore diet. Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you haven't. It does help. Sharing this on social media helps a lot too. I'm Anthony Stine, the Practical Carnivore, and thanks for watching.